Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Res. I'm gonna call this episode the Shit Kid Res Stories Res Tales episode. Yeah, it's basically gonna be like flashbacks from my childhood and other bad Res Kid stories. So a lot of these stories were pre-internet, pre-Facebook, pre-camera phone, and just pure bad res kid things. So anyways, here we go. So my mom's house has these huge pine trees in the front yard, and my friend across the road, me and her, we used to climb right to the top of these trees. They're maybe 30 feet high. So one time, her older sister thought she was a pro tree climber like us, and she tries to climb the tree. She gets on the first branch and fumbles and flips upside down, and her pants get caught, and she's hanging from the tree bare ass, facing the road. Me and my friend were just laughing at her. I don't even know if we helped her. We just laughed, probably. We were probably 6 or 7 years old. Another time, my same friend, she lived across the road from me my whole life when we were growing up. So me and her were playing under the pine trees, and she threw my hat real high up in the tree. I was all mad. She's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get it." I'm like, "It's way too high up, you can't get it." And she's like, she pulls down a big branch, and she's like, "Hold this branch down. I'll get it. I'm small enough this branch will lift me right up." She's always the one with the bright ideas. I just go along with it. So I'm like, "Okay, let's try." She gets on the branch and she's like, "Hey, let it go now." I let it go and it takes her out and it snaps. It snaps in half and she flies out the tree. I was like, "Hey, what now?" Probably just lost my hat. I don't know. So another time, all the neighborhood kids were fishing at the creek, and I saw the biggest fish I ever seen in my life. I thought it was a shark. I got all scared. I threw my rod in the creek. And the other kids came running to come check it out, and it turns out it was a big giant sturgeon, 6 feet long. Another time, I think this was I don't know how old I was, but we were on a school trip in Montreal. We were invited to watch a hockey game, so as we were leaving, my friend stopped to tie her shoelaces, and I was all scared to lose our class, so I kept going, and she looked up and we were gone, and we got to the bus, and I was too scared to say I lost her, so I didn't say nothing. And then she's all lost at the Bell Center at the end of the hockey game, and there's thousands of people leaving. She said she got on the wrong bus 5 times, and she finally found our bus, and she came and she found me, and she started flipping out on me. Yeah, that's a few of my shit kid res tales. I got a couple of people who supposed to come on the show too and share some of their shit kid res tales. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell a story of one of my favorite little bad res kid stories. So there's just these 2 bad kids from my res. They're a little bit older than my son, probably 11 or 12 years old. Anyways, a few years ago, I remember hearing this story about them going on a nature walk with their class, and they got this bright idea to bust a bee's nest. I don't know if they knew it before they busted the nest, but it turns out their teacher was allergic to bees, and all hell broke loose. Yeah, that's one of my favorite res kid stories. It's not even my own, but anyways, like I mentioned in the first episode, I lost some of my childhood friends recently, and I started getting flashbacks of my party days, and I started getting flashbacks from my childhood. So I'm gonna share some of my own shit kid res tales. So another story, when I was a little kid, my neighbor had two big Saint Bernards and like this other big scary dog. And one day, me and my friend Jen were playing outside, and we got chased by these dogs, and we ended up running up my brother's treehouse. My friend, she had this big rock, and she dropped it on the dog's head, and the dogs fucking took off running home. And another time, we were having a sleepover, and the old railroad tracks run along behind my mom's house, so we used to go and like throw snowballs at the skidoos driving down the tracks. And yeah, we ended up getting chased down a couple times. Bad little res kids. Another time, we used to always make cool jumps and sliding hills, and one day me and my friend Jen and her cousin, we ended up making this huge jump over a cliff, and I was like walking back up the hill, and her cousin comes flying down on a GT and flies over my head, just misses my head. My neighbor, we were riding on a skidoo down the old tracks, and we ended up getting stuck, and we were there for a long time, and we ended up making a shelter. And I'm like, fuck this, I'm gonna fly down the next skidoo I see. So I do, and of course the skidoo is an SQ officer, and he helps us out, and he asks our names and our age and our information, and he's like, you girls are not even old enough to drive this machine, you have no helmets, you're not dressed properly, and like starts giving us shit about a bunch of things. And he's like, get your asses straight home and don't let me catch you again. Ends up letting us go. And so this other time, my same neighbor, me and her were like, thought it'd be a great idea to burn grass at her mom's house on a hot summer windy day. And it just fucking went up in flames so fast. It spread so fast. We had to call the fire trucks, and her mom's in town at the bank. She's standing in line behind one of the firefighters, and she hears the call come in over the walkie-talkie, and it's her address, and she fucking takes off flying home. We ended up getting in some shit. And yeah, me and my neighbor were always up to no good. This one Easter, we were riding around on her dad's four-wheeler, and her little brother was sitting on the front of the bike, and she ends up running over my res dog, and her brother flies off the front of the bike, lands on the road, and in front of my mom's house. My mom hears a big commotion. She comes running, and she finds my friend's brother lying on the road, and he had chocolate leaking out of his mouth, and she's like, oh my god, you guys killed him. And my friend's like, relax, it's just chocolate. So yeah, that's some of my little shit kid res stories, and hopefully I'll have some guests come on the show and share some of their stories soon. Anyways, if you enjoyed these res tales, stay tuned for another episode of Tales from the Res.